So let me start from the top now. Aaron Ramsdale, I'm giving him a 7.5. Now, Villa's goals were of the highest quality. I take nothing away from the first goal. As I said, I blame Saliba for that. He dared him to go on his weaker foot, and he did. He had his stronger foot covered, which is what most defenders are trained to do, but you gave him way too much. He took it on the left, and it was a great finish from him. The second goal from Villa was superb. It took us out of our positions. Xhaka got pulled out from the penalty spot. The overlap on the left hand side as well by Buendia, and look at Kamara. It was just a brilliant goal, great team goal, one touch football, and they deserve the goal. So that's it from me. I'm not going to blame Aaron Ramsdale for that, but the big save. He made 3 big saves, the biggest from Bailey in the closing stages. What a save. These are the things that fans don't tend to talk about, and that's why we have player ratings to individually give them the props that they deserve. Moving on to Ben White now. Ben White's going to be my man of the match. He was phenomenal, getting forward. This is the best support I've seen of Saka since we've been in our downturn over the last 5 games or so. And it's not just that, guys, but look at the chances that Nketiah had in the box. Why? Because those crosses were delivered with quality from Ben White. All day, he was giving you options on the right and delivering quality boxes in the left. Nketiah could have had a couple of headed chances in today. There was one that Mings took from his head off. If Mings wasn't there, he would have been. Oh, no, let me get an African Guna in there as well. If Mings wasn't there, then Nketiah would have had an easy headed goal. But the other one Eddie had, he hit the crossbar. But you look at how Eddie was able to have those chances. It was because of Ben White. Ben White's delivery was superb today. Overall, I think he was our best player. William Saliba, I'm going to give Saliba a 6. I thought that Watkins had him in all sorts today. But after getting beaten from that, I think that he balanced himself out pretty well. But I think he didn't look well. He looked shaky in the first half. But the first goal was definitely his fault. But I'm still going to give him a 6 because I thought he came back in the second half. Gabriel was slightly better. He was the busiest out of the two, if I'm honest. Having to keep Bailey in the last 10 minutes at bay, that was a bit of a challenge. So he gets a 6.5 for me. Zinchenko came alive, man. I mean, what a way to score your first Arsenal goal. Oh, my God. And look, I thought he was excellent. I thought he was crap in the first half. This is the player that I deem the most intelligent player in the team. And his performances, like everybody else, guys, his performances in the last few games have been off. In the second half, he came alive, man. And what a way to take his second goal. I'm going to give him a solid 7 for Zinchenko. Really good to see him. But the story just gets better than that, guys. Jorginho constantly was a pain in the midfield for Villa. Just finding his teammates in transition. I really like what he does. He's not as physical, and being able to and deliver those passes to put oppositions under pressure. It's all there in the sky, guys. Make no mistake. This isn't a Dega player we bought from Chelsea. This is a top player. 3rd Ballon d'Or, yeah, all 11 Europa player. He's delivering on promise. And there's a reason why Arteta's been trying to get this guy into the team for the last 2 years. Everything what he does looks quality. And I love the way he's got that experience, guys. He's not one of these players, give him a couple of games to warm up. He's just been delivering when he's played. And it's only going to get better with Jorginho. And this is what's happening when Partey's out of the team. Remember that, guys. This time last year, Partey got injured, missed the rest of the season. We had no answer. Yeah? El Nene came in, played well for a time, but this guy is giving us some quality. Great strike at the end as well, which led to the goal winner. Really, really appreciate that from Jorginho. Yeah. Yeah, Italian. Vinci likes that. For Xhaka, I think this is Xhaka's second 4 in a row. Is the game's just bypassing him. He's not imposing himself in the game. He's wasteful in possession, and maybe Vieira probably starts the next game, or maybe even Smith Rowe. I don't think you start Smith Rowe because I still think he's going to be short for 90 minutes. But I definitely have to put Vieira. Vieira again. Build up play for the last goal. Vieira can give you quite a lot. So I think we need to start. You paid 36 million for Vieira. Time you start him over Granit Xhaka. And Odegaard. A fair performance. That's why he gets a fair score, 5.5. But my God, how do you pull that wide? He's probably nailing that 10 out of 10 times in practice, and he just misses. And the goalie couldn't even get down for it anyway. If you look at the left camera, the goalie was well beaten on that. He just misses the target. You can't have that in a game like this. He just can't. So look, I'm going to give him a 5.5. I thought he worked hard defensively, but offensively he struggled today. Xhaka, once again, star boy, Arsenal's biggest threat. I don't know how he was standing at the end of the game. He was chopped down 3 times in there. Alex Morano challenge probably should have been a harsh yellow. Vincey's waving. What's up, Vincey?
No, I'm just saying bye to Fiona. She says she's off.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Look, no goalie in the world could have stopped that strike. He's just delivering now. I told you, 3rd in the league, and I'll read that out for you guys again who missed it. Only Haaland, 30 goals, and Harry Kane, 18 goals, have been involved in more Premier League goals this season than Saka. Imagine that. He has 1 less goal than Harry Kane in terms of providing an impact for his team. That is brilliant. That is absolutely phenomenal. And today I thought he did well. I don't know. He's probably hobbling off the pitch due to the amount of times he was chopped up today. And then Trossard, I'm going to go in with a 6. I thought he played really well in the first half. He was one of our brightest players. But then if you look at what's happened to Martinelli on the left-hand side over the last 6 games, he kind of suffered a little bit of that. And again, you're talking about what me and Danny went into great depth about in terms of what's not working, the interlink play between Xhaka and Martinelli on that side. And it's just not, and again, you can conform Nketiah as well. It's just not working on that left-hand side. And something has to be done to it. Unfortunately, I think we just have to count the fact that when Jesus gets back, it will all get fixed. And then obviously swapping out Xhaka, because Xhaka was dynamic in the first half of the season and it all worked well. Now he's dropped off. It's really affected that left-hand side now. And it seems like no matter who you put in there, they're going to struggle because you're not getting that support. It's not as easy as it is on the right-hand side when Ben White's running up to support Saka. Because Zinchenko is inverted, he can be anywhere across the pitch. So Xhaka's role is so important in supporting that left-hand sided winger, and it's just not happening. So that's where we are with that. Arteta, I'm going to give him a 7 because you won the game, but your team sheet, you're bending, yeah? Because you started Tomiyasu in the last game, you started Trossard today, so that shows me you can see what we can see, and you're doing something about it, but you're still not there yet. Because you're still carrying players. No way Xhaka should have played to still going to hold you out for that. But, you know, your team got you over the line, 4-2 win away from home. You needed 3 points. You got it. So big up to Arteta for that. And Martinelli, I'm going to give him a 7. What a way for him to come back facing critics after what was 5 very poor games from him. And what that will do for his confidence is going to be a world of good. Who wants to go next? Tony, you got the conch? Or you're still working out your stats? Yeah, so let's go to Vincey.
Yeah, I'm just going to go a little bit different. I didn't see much of the first half in commentary on the stream, but what I just wanted to say is that I'm just going to. I spoke in the last game about pressure and what I wanted to see how Arsenal responded to pressure against Man City, and that's really what I want to talk about today. I think you can see within the setup of the team that there are some strong individuals. They're fighting. They recognise where we are in the league table, in the common race. Our form has been poor, and some individuals are showing signs of pressure getting to them in situations. And this is natural. It's frustrating for us, and that's something that Arteta's got to take into consideration. Xhaka, Eddie, who else? Martinelli, you're seeing he's still got that pace. He's still making some of those errors that are frustrating us in making some of the decisions, but he is a threat in open play. And this is something where Arteta's just got to fine-tune in training to allow him to make those decisions against certain opponents. You can see that he's, as Apollo has said, that he's making decisions with his substitutions with Tomiyasu, with Ben White and Xhaka coming off in a few games. But I do think with the omission of Jesus and Partey, it's almost like we get into a certain timeline within the game to where the game either becomes winnable or it becomes open, where he's then having the confidence to bring on players and the players are really scrapping to get us over the line. And I think in the running, this is what's going to happen for a lot of games now. It's going to be frustrating for us to watch, but until he can get a tune out of us consistently to start for 90 minutes, then we'll see a different turnaround. But I'm pleased with the response from the players today. Loving the response from the panel, the guys in the chat coming in with articulate ideas. We got a victory today, guys. We scored 4 goals. And, you know, we spoke about dominance in the game. This could have been 6, 7, you know, with how open the game is. But we got over the line. It was nerve-wracking. And I'm just really pleased for the guys after the result, the way how we played at Man City. We bounced back and it's looking up, man. That's all I wanted to say, man. Looking up.
Yeah, Danny, do you want to go? Actually, no. Let's go to Mark because it's the first time he's been here doing player ratings. Mark, let's have your player ratings.
Well, like I say, I'm looking at yours, I don't see much wrong with that at all, to be honest.
I get that every week. I get most of the guys, they tinker off it. They like to see it down there because it gives them a template, and then they're able to put their own figures around it.
I'm not really this. When I'm looking at it, there's not really much to say different, if I'm totally honest. The conversations today have been absolutely fantastic, and I think they've been honest, true, and they've been varied. Now, going back to this Arsenal team, the difficulty is we've got a brilliant 11. I think we've probably got one of the best 11s in the league. Now, when we miss a couple, does it only affect that position that player is missing from, i.e. the Jesus, i.e. the Partey? Partey affects so many different positions on the pitch, and some people will lose off that. Now, I know, and the impossible thing is we can't play that same team every flipping week. Someone mentioned Man City players only play 26. They all their players play about 26 games for the season, so they're fresh. Was you? They're fresh. Yeah. You know what I mean? And when they're taking out their players, they're bringing in players of equal ilk. They're not sacrificing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do, but the one thing you have to, there's always intangibles in every situation. And I don't think Arsenal fans right now are giving the team enough credit to the point where they have not had their best player in Thomas Partey in crucial matches. He didn't play against Man United. He didn't play against Man City. And then your top striker, your prized summer signing, he's been gone for the last 3 months. And the team are still battling for the title.
Follow. When you look at it, when you take away, because when you think about it, there's a lot of banter flying around. We're in a lot of banter groups. And I'm that guy who's, you know what I mean? When Man U's doing well, I'll say they're doing well because of X, Y, and Z. I'll say such and such are doing well because of X, Y, Z. Because I'm a football person. I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm a football person. With us, it's key when we've not got our Jesus. It's key when we've not got our Partey. And you'll hit the nail on the head. Partey plays against Man U at Old Trafford. We win that game. Not we may win that game. We win that game. And when we miss him, and it's becoming too much of a big thing. When we miss him, we don't dominate as much. Do you understand what I mean? Jorginho's coming and done a fantastic job. He can't do it to the extent of what Partey does. But you think about it now. We don't sign Jorginho in that window. What we're left with today?
Exactly.
That's a 100%.
Great. That's the best statement of the day, mate. Top statement.
What we left with today? Do you know what I mean? And
same thing as what happened last year when Partey went and we had nothing.
Yeah. So let's not make no bones about it. Today's victory was unbelievable, for not just for the table, the title race, or for a thing that it's massive for We've answered some critics now because they didn't think that we'd come back and bounce back. They've answered the thing where Jorginho, oh, he's been here, he's not won no games and blah, blah, blah. That's been shut down now. See you later. Now, you'll see on your Facebook feed, no one will come for you today because they'll disappear. All the opposing fans, they'll disappear because we've silenced them, so it's going to make my weekend nice and peaceful. But you got to congratulate the team in adversity. They've gone 1-0 down, they've gone 2-1 down, and they've won the game 4-2. That is absolutely fantastic and brilliant from this bunch of players, this young bunch of players that people don't want to give us credit for. That's fine, but us in the here, we sit behind our team. We criticize when we criticize, but then we also stand up for them when we stand up for them. So I applaud that. And like I said, I don't think you guys kind of understand how brilliant it's been for me to be sat here with you today. I can keep saying it, but man, you don't understand. It's been next week when I'm here in the house, I'm tapping you guys up. Get me in. I want in. Get me in. Yeah, that's how you made
Good to hear it, bro.
Yeah, man.
Good to hear it. And guys, listen, and for the rest of you guys watching, we are community-based, so anybody here is welcome to come on and point your views. It ain't about one person. Yeah, I know there's a lot of work behind the scenes. I do put a lot of money, my own money into this channel, but it is all for you guys to come here and say what you need to say and long may that continue.
And I will thank you for that. From my bottom of my heart, I thank you for what you do and what you produce for us. 100%.
Cheers, bro. That's the reason why a lot of people are saying to me, why don't I go back to AFTV? That is the reason why. Yeah, because it's more important what we do here than what happens out in the other world. So, Danny, big shout out to you, Danny. And the reason why I give you a big shout out, because first of all, always a pleasure when I get to spend time with you. I loved our stream on Thursday night. A lot of things we talked about in that stream came to pass today. One of those was Jorginho. A lot of people there trying to poo-poo the January sign-in. Didn't turn out too badly for him today, did it?
Nope. And just before I start in the ratings, can I just read something funny? Because I refreshed the BBC, the scores and fixtures page just to get the team. And this describes the type of win we had today. I'm just going to read the first line. It said, Unai Emery's Aston Villa denied his former club Arsenal the chance to go back to the top of the Premier League as they played out a dramatic draw at Villa Park. That says it all about the win. They were ready to just dump that in there, and we fucked up their whole plan. So,
Danny, where did you see that?
It was on BBC. If I refresh it now, it's going to be gone. So I don't want to lose it. I screenshotted it and everything. I'll post it in the group later.
Danny.
It's hilarious.
Screenshot it.
Danny, thanks. You just demonetized me there.
Oh, nah, you can get away with a couple of swear words. You can get away with 1 or 2 F words. You're all right. It's more than 30 seconds in. Okay.
If you change it from kids to adults, then they won't do nothing.
It's the passion coming out. I apologize.
Yeah.
Apollo's not responsible for that YouTube. So match ratings. You lot might not like them, but I've given Ramsdale a 6.5, and I would have given him higher, but he's only got. I would have given him lower, but he's only got 6.5 for that save at the end. Yeah, because I've noticed a lot of times in games where we've been shipping goals, Ramsdale is not. You want your keeper to just pull something magical out sometimes, and he doesn't do that often enough for me. Like I remember Leno pulling out mad double saves and stuff. He would make errors, which Ramsdale doesn't do, but I feel like on 1 or 2 of them, the Coutinho goal, he completely just guessed and went the wrong way. You know what I mean? If you watch that goal, Coutinho cut it back, and fair enough, Ramsdale couldn't see, but a lot of keepers just wouldn't guess to dive the right way late, but he just guessed and went the wrong way. So just little things like that I'll mark him down for. Ben White, I've given a 6.5 only because of his second half performance. He was shocking in the first half, and we're slaughtering Saliba for that first goal, But if you watch Ben White, he gets dragged out of position. He gets sucked into the play, which we used to always moan at Mustafi about, getting sucked into the play and then done. Yeah, he got sucked into the play and then they just ran around him and he was out of the equation for their second goal. So I've marked him down to a 6.5. Both our fullbacks in the first half were terrible. Saliba, I've given a 6.5. I thought he was all right, but he wasn't yeah, I don't blame him for the goal, but you can't get more than that when we've shipped 2 goals in the game, innit? So 6.5. Gabriel, I gave a 7 because he was the better of the two. He pulled out a couple of really important blocks at the end as well. Who was it? Leon Bailey. Leon Bailey he had a one-on-one isolation play with Leon Bailey, and he just took the ball off him. Lovely. That saved us in that situation. So Gabriel gets a 7. Zinchenko, I would have marked him down as well, but that goal, bro, that's his first ever Premier League goal.
I know.
His first ever one for City and Arsenal. In 97 games, that's his first goal. And what a time to score it. What an occasion to score it. Again, like putting us ahead of his former team, all of that. So he gets a 7. Beautiful. My man of the match is split between 2 people, and it's Odegaard and Jorginho. No one's been talking about Odegaard today, which I find mental because
Tony did.
Half,
Tony did.
Yeah.
Tony did,
Yeah, we need to hear Tony's ratings though, innit? Like, so for me, yeah, I'm giving Odegaard and Jorginho both an 8 because Odegaard in that second half orchestrated in the way that we want Odegaard to do. Let's not forget that he got an assist as well for one of the goals that we scored. So Odegaard and Jorginho, joint man of the match for me. Jorginho, obviously, for that goal and his general play in the game was magnificent. Like, he was unbelievable. Imagine we had an El Neni or a Lokonga in there in that game. We would have got done, bro. Like, so I'm loving the joint man of the match for Odegaard and Jorginho. Xhaka, I've gone the same as you, Apollo, 4. He was absolutely a passenger. He was getting carried in that game. He's been getting carried in too many games recently. And I feel like I'm being a bit biased, but he's getting sort of retrospective ratings as well for me for that, because it's the latest in a long line of pitiful performances from Xhaka. Yeah,
I'm glad you've said that, because a lot of people don't want to talk about how bad his performances are. They just let it slide and then and are happy to give him a 7.
Yeah. Go on, bro. What are you going to say?
Danny, sorry.
Yeah.
100% agree, but to the group, do you not think as well that our Xhaka is failing a bit because he's missing his brethren Partey? Would you attribute a little bit to that?
No, because it started before that.
It started long before that.
Okay, I get you.
It's since the World Cup, he's not been good.
Danny, I was only saying that, Danny, because you know them 3, they work. Do you know what I mean? They work. So obviously, with you saying that, I'll take that on board. But I'm just saying, them 3, they're an oiled machine. I kind of think they know where they're going to be and what.
Do you know who I think Xhaka's missing? I don't think it's Partey. I think he's missing Gabriel Jesus, because when Jesus picks up the ball, drops back a little bit, that's when Xhaka made those runs into the box, and Jesus will flick a cute little pass into him, and then he'll head it in and score a goal. And that's what the only value he's been bringing this season is, that side of the pitch. Like, if you're looking at his defensive side, this is why me and Apollo were like, we need Vieira in there, because Xhaka's not providing anything defensively, so we might as well have an offensive player in there. You know what I mean? So let me go back. Saka, 7.5, and he would have got an 8 as well, but he got hacked up and he got knackered. You could see the end of the game, Saka was out of it, bro. He was done, tired, man. Like, he's done. So I gave him a 7.5, and it's not his own fault. It's just he faltered off in it, and there's nothing you can do about that. But it does bring your rating down, because if we're just analysing the level of your play, for me, it got brought down half a point just for that. Nketiah, I've given a 5. And yeah, he did do some good stuff in the game. For me, a 5 is an average middle rating. It's not like some people like to use 6. I use 5 as a middle rating. I've given Nketiah that because he did well for that header, but he should have put it in. Like, he did some good stuff. Like, when he should have had an assist in it, because Odegaard, I should have marked Odegaard. No, man in the match is Jorginho. Odegaard got 7.5.
I was wondering when you was going to say, hey, you don't see Bertram's. You know what I love about Bertram?
He loses half a point for that.
You know what I love about Bertram? Bertram takes his time, he stays quiet, he let you say your piece, and then when it comes to Bertram,
you got to work through the process. You got to let the process happen sometimes.
No comment, Apollo. No comment.
When you said that about Odegaard, I was
gets
like,
a 5.5. Eddie Nketiah gets a 5.5 because that should have been an assist, and Odegaard gets a 7.5. So let me just adjust that rating. And then Trossard, I've given a 6 because I know you guys thought he was brilliant in the first half, but I'd love you to watch it again, because I just love to see your opinions if you watch it again. Just because that side is my little sort of bit that I'm watching at the moment, because that's where I'm seeing a lot of our problems happen. And I was really watching it, and I was like, he's doing okay. He's not messing up. He's not making any big mistakes or anything like that. But he's not penetrating whatsoever. He didn't penetrate once. He didn't do any. He just kept the ball. And sometimes you're expected to do more than that. Like, remember when we used to get Bellerin up on that right-hand side and he'd always cut back and pass it safe, and how frustrating that was. I noticed that a lot with Trossard. And that's why I like when Martinelli came on, he provided a bit more incisiveness down that side. And you did see it immediately. As soon as he came on, we were more incisive down the left. So I've given Trossard a 6. Martinelli, I've given a 6.5, just because it started a bit shaky, but then he was instrumental in a lot of the stuff really late on, and he got the goal as well. So 6.5. Vieira, I thought was brilliant. He had less time, but I thought he was amazing when he came on. And that sort of awareness of mind to not just bang it, to slide Martinelli through, no pressure for that last 2 minutes or whatever it was. So
he needs to play. He needs to start in the next game. He needs to start.
Definitely. He's got that presence of mind. That's the word I was looking for. He's got that presence of mind where in those techie situations, he'll find a little out or something like that. So I've given Vieira a 7 for his last. He only came on for 10 minutes or something. So he gets
got
a
an
7.
assist.
And an assist as well, But that's exactly what I'm talking about, that presence of mind to put Martinelli through, rather than a lot of players would have tried to hit it from there, innit? And just hoped it went in. So, and then Tomiyasu, I've given a 6.5 because, like I said, Ben White was shakier than you lot think. He was a lot shakier than you lot think. And Tomiyasu did shore up that side, but I saw 1 or 2 occasions where he was a bit panicked when he had the ball further up the pitch. So I've given him a 6.5, but he did shore up that side when he came on. They had no joy down that side when Tomiyasu came on. None. They had to go down to Leon Bailey all the time. They started picking on Zinchenko and that. So that's where I think Tomiyasu deserved a bit more ratings than no one else has rated him, but I've given him 6.5.
Excellent, bro. Tony,
sorry,
do you want
Arteta. 8.
Yeah, so I was just reading someone's giving him a 9 there as well. I want to say a big shout out to Kez. Me and Kez was raving last night. He was at the the club that I was at last night. I left a clip on my Facebook wall so you guys can see one of the live jazz singers that we had down there. So if you want to check out my Facebook wall, it's on there now. But Kez, it was really good meeting up with you last night, Kez. Really great to see you, man. Big shout out to you. And Tony, if you're ready now, we can go with you, or Bertram has just popped off for a bit. So you got the conch, Tony. You got the conch.
Right, here we go. Stato. There we go. Stato. So let's break down some of the key stats from the game today. If I could just remove your banner very briefly.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Go on. So this is the most amazing stat. At halftime, 4 shots, 2 on target. By the end of the game, 20 shots. That's just phenomenal. I mean,
yeah, Tony, at halftime we had 2 shots and 2 on target, and they had 4 shots and 2 on target. Yeah. I
mean, that just shows. I mean, you know, I mentioned to Mark when he came on we were talking about dominance, and I just said, look, you know, I had that point taken my brain away from the first half, and I totally engrossed myself in what was going on in the second half, and all I saw was domination.
Yeah,
and those are the stats to prove that. Then what else have we got? Right, let's pull up this one because this one is a nice one. All right. I'll let the readers them get a read, and then you can make of that as you will. But that goes to show you the load on those 4 players. The load is humongous.
Yeah, yeah.
And just underneath that is Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. Eddie's got 9 goals and no assists.
Yeah, he's 1 away. Yeah. So you've literally got the onus of our team on those 4 or 5 players, and bearing in mind that Eddie is now Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah,
yeah. To me, it's like when you look at other teams, especially Man City, their load bearing is not that high in comparison. They get goals all over the place. Liverpool get goals all over the place. But you know, this is why, to me, you got to treat these guys with cotton gloves, because they're so integral to the way this team performs and so important in terms of their consistency through the rest of this season. If we have aspirations to potentially win the league or finish top 2, those 4 guys, they can't be playing 95 minutes a game every week.
Talk the thing. Talk the thing.
Yes, sir.
Talk the thing.
Okay, so I personally didn't think Jorginho was having the greatest of games, but quietly and efficiently, this is my word for this guy, efficiently, he just did a thing today. Yeah, 90 touches, 70 complete, joint most, 5 duels, 3 tackles. Great. Listen, I've been a detractor
overly critical about the January transfer market.
About the January transfer window. But when praise is due, I have to give the praise.
Talk the team.
So everyone who understands me will tell you, I do not think Jorginho was a close decision. For me, it was like literally you had to get another player. I was disappointed. I told you. I was disappointed with Jorginho being the backup player to Thomas Partey. Yeah. But I have to give credit where it's due. Today, my guy was not star boy, but he was Mr. Efficiency. Yeah? And as it says there, you can still party without party. Salute, Jorginho. Thank you very much. Shame he didn't get a goal. But well done to that guy. My next guy. Sorry.
Yeah, and I just want to say, before you go on to the next guy, I just wanted to say before you go on to the next guy, Jorginho just has that intelligence, leadership skills, and a huge amount of Premier League experience. This guy's won Premier League titles, Champions Leagues, 3rd Ballon d'Or. How could we not think? And 31 years old, by the way. So it's not like he's in his 34, 35, and he's in the tail end. He's still up there, and he can still play for another 3-4 years.
Still not. I'm still not sold. I'm sorry to say. You know the difference. Again, I keep saying this. The difference between the starting 11 and the next 4 or 5 players, there's a drop off. Thomas Partey is a Rolls Royce. Yeah, you might turn around and say, you know what, Jorginho is a good BMW.
Yeah,
it's not a bad car to have.
Hey, bro, Thomas Partey is the Batmobile, man. Let's be fair.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
You like that one, innit, Danny? Thomas Partey is the Batmobile, bro.
Okay. So I'm going to move on swiftly. Bukayo Saka. I mean, you know what? He's done it again. He's done it again. A sublime goal, 83 touches, 6 shots, you know. For a kid that, to me, he's carrying a knock for most of the second half, if not all of the second half. You know, Bertram is very strong in criticizing his inability to go past his fullback. But as I said, you got to pick your poison. He's probably more Pires than he is Mark Overmars. And none of us are ever going to complain about Robert Pires.
Great analogy.
Because you know what? When we lost Overmars to Barcelona and we got Pires, we probably thought, well, we've missed that one. But actually, we didn't. We gained an absolute worldie in Robert Pires. And Bukayo Saka is that guy. Thank you, Saka, for your contribution today.
Great analogy.
Good to see what Bertrand will say about that. He's been his biggest critic, and rightly so.
Okay. Then I have to go to this guy. Yeah, I took the picture. You can see down the bottom right, that miss, unforgivable. That was an awful miss. And as Bertram alluded, look, you got the time to stop the ball and pick your corner. Yeah, that's criminal. But look at the rest of this guy's play.
Yeah, he actually leads the Premier League in chances created. He's number
Look
one.
at the
He's
rest of
hiding.
this guy's game.
He's hiding
Because
Kevin De Bruyne.
I ain't missing out on this. I gotta say, this guy, early in the season, he used to get drawn out. He used to basically get taken off, and Xhaka would be the guy to stay on. Now it's Xhaka getting taken off and Odegaard staying on because he's that influential in the team. And as I said, you got your 4 players who basically are the drivers of this team. And Odegaard, he's driving this team. What's my last contribution? Not a lot of people will know that one. So with that, if I can have your ratings back up, I'll now finish my ratings very quickly.
Okay.
Because now that I've put up the stats, it will give you the rationale behind my ratings. Ramsdale 7.5. White gets a 7.5. And I want to put, I don't know if I put a graphic up for Zinchenko. Did I have a graphic for Zinchenko? No, I didn't. I'm pretty certain. But Zinchenko, to me, was the better player.
Yeah.
You gave Zinchenko a lesser grade than Ben White, but look at overall contribution in the game. I mean, he scored a goal.
Yeah.
He scored a goal. You know, yes, he had bad bits in the game. Some of his passing was very errant. But actually, overall, I mean, I actually have the stats. He touches the ball more than any other player in our team. His contribution is phenomenal in the final analysis. Yeah. Zinchenko pass accuracy 84.9 compared to Ben White's 78.2. Yeah. 3 shots on goal compared to Ben White's 0. 2 shots on target. You know, only player who had more shots on target was Bukayo Saka. 98 touches of the ball. No other player on the pitch has more touches. No other player. So Zinchenko, I have to give him an 8. Even although I thought he had a bad first half.
Well, that's the thing. It's good to see you're matching the eye test with the stats.
Yeah.
Whereas with me, it's all eye test because, like I said, I mentioned the crosses Ben White was bringing into Nketiah in the box and the chances there. Ben White could have easily had 3 assists today, but you know you won't see that on the stats. You won't see that on the stat sheet. But yeah, I respect that, bro. I respect that.
Okay, so quickly finishing off, Saliba, I'm giving I'm gonna go with you on a 6, and I'll give Gabriel 6.5. I'm fine with that. Zinchenko, I'm giving 8, and Ben White the 7. Jorginho, because of what I said, you know, the quiet assassin, if Mr. Efficiency, give him an 8 because you know he changed the game. Xhaka, I agree, 4. Odegaard, I have to improve that mark. I have to give Odegaard at least a 7. He gets an assist in the game, should have scored 1, but he's so effective in what he's doing in the game. He's driving this team. Saka, I'm happy with the 7.5. Trossard, I'm happy with the 6. Nketiah, I'm happy with the 5. Arteta, I agree with you on the 7. Could do so much better. Could do so much better. He actually deserves probably a little bit more because at the end of the day, he goes out, he makes the changes, and those changes win the game.
Yeah, and he got his team out of the funk because of that.
Because of those changes.
Could you imagine what he said to them at half time? He probably was kicking man around the room.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You gave Martinelli a 7. Yeah, I can't really question that. I'd go with that. Any other subs that would worthy of a mark? No,
Tommy
so that's
Atsu.
me, guys. Thank you very much for the time and the platform. As Mark alluded, you know, it's always great conversation, great respect from you all. Respect to the family in the chat. It's been an emotional one, but boy, what a great weekend we're about to have.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks for that, Tony. Bertram, we leave the best until last. And look, I respect you wholeheartedly, and we're right to be overcritical when we can. We're right to be subjective in our views, but we do also, big up the players when they're doing well. And today was a tale of two halves, wasn't it, Bertram? A very frustrating first half. And Arsenal, I mean, for the last 25 minutes, I was saying to you guys, it's coming. Because as Tony showed you with the stats, I mean, Villa weren't even close.
So when you're reviewing, you have to try to be as objective as possible in life when you're doing anything. And winning is such an elixir, and winning cures everything, even though when you look at the facts, it may not be reflective of reality. So let's say the reality. Villa has given up 11 goals in their last 3 games. That's reality. That means they're poor defensively. And they gave up 4 to Leicester. That's reality. So let's take it off the table. We're a systems team. A systems team. So when you blame Xhaka, you blame all these players, look at the system first, then analyze the players. Where we get dominating game by a center forward like Tony last week and other Waterloo this week is how we play. Ben White overlaps and plays way down on Saka, giving him ultimate support, and Odegaard is right there. So when they play the ball out, that's the first outlet.
Yes.
Saliba is one-on-one. There is no protection. Zinchenko is playing in the middle for us. So it's a different construct setup. When we say Martinez not getting support, look at the setup and the system, and then you make your analysis. Don't just think about individual players and where they are and out of position. It's not that Ben White is out of position. That's how we play. He's deep down, right? So therefore, when the ball comes out, Saliba is one-on-one. It's difficult one-on-one with a Premier League forward. That's what happens. Both goals came from the left. Let me repeat. Both goals came from the left. And we're saying how the right is brilliant and what is first, and Xhaka is not doing this on his side. Both goals came from the left. Why is that?
Because they changed it.
Look at
they changed it.
They changed anything. Because the first goal came from the ball being played out to Watkins, one-on-one with Saliba, and Zinchenko owns that goal. You cannot get dispossessed, wait on the other half, one-on-one. And by the way, where was Jorginho? There is nobody to cut out the pass coming through the middle. So it's like in the Wenger days, when you're attacking, attack with caution, attack with a view I may lose the ball. Where am I if I lose the ball? We weren't like that in the middle of the season, in the early part of the season. We're not got like that again in our play. We lose the ball deep, and we're all over the place defensively trying to recover. Because we're pressing high, we don't expect to lose the ball. You have to expect to lose the ball, and that's what Rob ran into. So when we say, this player played this way, or this player caused this, the goals came from the left, not the right in the game. We got to think about that. When we're blaming Xhaka, we're blaming on it. No, there's no hand put up because I waited. There's no hand put up here. I didn't put my hand up. There's no hand put up. I put my hand up. It's my time. So, all right, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
Bertrand, everything I was going to say is I 100% agree with you on the fact that you have to have the what if. So when you're attacking, and I'm just talking coaching speak now. When you're attacking, I will berate my midfielder not being aware of what if we lose the ball. So all I was going to do is congratulate you and say I 100% agree with that point you just made. And I had to say it now before I forgot.
Okay. No problem.
I'm going to shut up now. Go on.
And by the way, look at the Man U game where they scored their first goal. And look at the Man U game where they scored their first goal. Where the ball come through? Left to middle, up there to Rashford. So we got to think about those things as we go along in the season, because they're going to come to bite us if we don't think about those things strategically about how we operate and how we play. So we're blaming Xhaka. Here's another thing we guys don't think about. When the ball goes into Jesus in the box, what does he do? He rinses man. Defenders have the carving on him, create more space for Xhaka and everybody else. When he goes to Nketiah, what does he do? He played up back outside the 18. He got a ball in the first half, in the first 10, 15 minutes, about the 8-yard line, deep in the opponent's half. What do he do? In the box. He don't try to rinse his man. He doesn't do anything with it except play it back out. You, in the penalty box, force the defender to make a decision. Don't make it easy for them. Because nobody wants to touch you in the box as a penalty. Create those situations. We're not getting it from Nketiah. By the way, I'm going to give you a Nketiah score. It's nowhere close to what you guys have. So I'll say this, which is we won. I wasn't happy with the victory. We're a much better team than Villa. They can't defend themselves. And Apollo, and I think it was, who else was on? talking about we should play Vieira, Odegaard, and Jorginho in midfield. What is too early in the morning to be smoking? Where's your defense? Jorginho is slow as molasses. Vieira can't defend himself, and Odegaard tried, but he can't defend. Where's your defense in the midfield? If you play those three in the midfield, what are you guys smoking?
So, Bertrand,
Really?
I'll answer.
We played Liverpool last year with Odegaard, Smith Rowe, and I forgot what was Ellen in the midfield, and we were lost.
So,
They
Bertrand,
were all over the place.
yeah,
Yes,
let
go
me
ahead,
answer
go ahead,
that.
Apollo.
Let me answer that. Firstly, I didn't agree with when you said football is a system game and all of that.
No, I
Yes,
said we play a system game. We play a system game.
yeah. I
That's
just
all we
wanna
play.
ask-
It's a system we play. Like Man City does. We play a system game.
Yeah. And where I don't agree with that, and then I'll come on to the other point is, yes, football is a team game, it's a system game, but once you cross that line, you have a responsibility on the field that is dependent on your role. That's where you're missing that. That's
No,
where
Apollo. The difference between you have a system and playing my system, every system has vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
Our vulnerability is when we lose the ball of field, and if the players are cognizant of playing defense,
Yeah.
we're scrapping to get back. Look how City scored their first goal, where Tamiyasu is under pressure. There's nobody except Saliba. But I mean, Saliba was in the play because he's playing deep. Gabriel didn't rotate over as quick as he could. Tamiyasu made a bad pass. There's no recovery. That's where Saliba probably should have been. To be the outlet for the pass, or in play wide to get Ramsdale to get it. So the problem I have with this is that when you have a system that's a well-constructed system, it works well, it's effective. Every system has vulnerabilities. Guardiola has never beaten Spurs at their home. Let me repeat that, guys. He's won the league 4 times. He's never beaten Spurs at Tottenham. You know why? They play deep, they suck up the pressure, and they play like how we play, and they have brilliant counter-attacking players. Between Son, between Kane, between Kulusevski, between Richard. So when they get the ball, they can damage you based on your vulnerabilities. We have to do more of that. And you guys talk about Martinelli and how well he played today. Martinelli has been poor for the last 5 or 6 games, and today he did little or nothing. Let me say this. You and I can score this goal, even when I can't run anymore after 4 knee surgeries. We could score that goal today. He got the ball with no keeper. Guys, please.
Yeah, I know.
Goal.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. But hold on, let me come back to your other question, because I think it's important to, and again, I talked about the difference between team responsibility and your own responsibility, and that's the reason why we've talked about Martinelli, we've talked about Xhaka, we've talked about Ben White over the last few games, and keen on Xhaka today. And I don't want to beat up too much about Xhaka, but this is just a definitive issue that we have right now. Not with Xhaka, yeah. Take the name out of it. It's the role. It's the role of the number 8. What is the number 8's role in football in your team? It's to operate as that box-to-box player. What does that mean to us as a team? It means that the player has responsibility in both an attacking sense and a defensive sense. Yeah, in the modern game, that's how it's revolved. Yeah, you play.
But Apollo, here's what you're missing. Here's what you're missing. We criticize Xhaka about box-to-box role. What role is Odegaard playing?
I don't want to go off the rails.
No. There's a reason for the question, Apollo. Answer the question.
Odegaard is a 10. He's a different role than an 8.
A 10 that plays on one side of the field? He's a true 10 and only plays beside Xhaka? Where's Odegaard helping Martinelli? A 10 rotates across the front line. Where's Martinelli? Where's Odegaard playing with Martinelli, with Jenko, with Xhaka? Where's Odegaard to play?
But this system doesn't equate to that. The 10 role
yes.
All right.
Go
So
ahead,
I can explain that now.
Go ahead.
Here's let's take your point, shall we? Let's take your point.
Yes.
So we've seen Tony put up the stats. Yeah. Tony put up the stats for Odegaard in that role.
I love how you and Tony are statsmen now. I used to say the ICAS. I also want the ICAS. So the ICAS doesn't matter anymore.
I'm just going to your point. So Tony showed you the stats for Odegaard on that right-hand side. On the left-hand side now, you're supposed to see the same stats with Xhaka, because Xhaka is that link intermediate.
No, guys. Right? No, I'm stopping there.
No, I have to finish. You're not let me finish, bro.
Go ahead. I'll let you go ahead.
I'll let you go in.
This was my time, by the way. But go ahead. This is my time.
I'm just answering your question. Question. My point is, if you're on the field and if you look at the stats there that Tony's got up, let me take the player ratings down now. Yeah. What we're saying about Xhaka is nothing in regards to him as a person. That's not the role. It's the role he's playing in the team. You're not affecting the game in a defensive or offensive role. Look at what they look. 100% dribbles. He's dribbling at the team. Is Xhaka dribbling?
Where's Xhaka stats?
How many touches did Xhaka have? How many duels did he
So
win?
show us the stats. Show us Xhaka stats.
How many
Tony, put up
assists did he
Xhaka
have?
stats. No,
Yeah?
Tony, put up Xhaka stats.
So the point here is, yes, the team has a responsibility in their roles, but as an individual role, that's where we're falling short. So when you talk about Fabio Vieira now, that's a player who we feel, and that is subjective, that's a player that we feel can give you more in that role. Yeah?
So let me say this. We've seen Fabio Vieira in the Europa League. We've seen his defensive inability. There's a reason why the coach doesn't play him with Odegaard and with the CDM, because it would be a mess defensively. Okay, I want to see Xhaka stats, by the way. And let me say this. I'll say this again. You said Odegaard is a 10, right? Even though he's not a true 10 the way he plays, because he only plays on the right side, not on the left side. And secondly, do we see Odegaard going back to help out Saliba? Like Xhaka goes back to help out Gabriel in any way, shape, or form in any game? If he's on the right side, because you're comparing Odegaard and Xhaka, which is an unfair comparison, because Zinchenko is taking up, playing inside. The right side is wide open. Go ahead. Go ahead, Odegaard.
I was about to say that. The truth is, yeah. I was just about to say, because the truth is, Bertram, and you know this yourself, as has been pointed out by Martin Keown and Ian Wright, Arsenal's system plays with 2 number 10s. That's where the inverted role.
No, they play with a 10 and an 8.5. It's not 2 10s. It's not 2 10s. Xhaka is not going to feel like Odegaard playing just aside the 8. No, they're not. I don't care what Righty says. I don't care what Keown says. I know what my eyes are showing me. I don't depend on the video to define my inability to understand football. I don't care what they say.
Yeah, but
Xhaka is always Xhaka is his butt. What is Odegaard playing defense? Down in his own half.
Listen, that I understand your point of view. I understand your stress, but as I said, in my opinion,
I'm excited. I'm not stressed.
The team plays with a variant when it's defending and it's attacking. It's different formations. At times, defensively, we only have 3 back there, and that's because that inverted role and that dual number 10 gives you the options of the way you play forward, gives you the options of a single pivot, gives you all those different options. Now, with Jorginho in there, I think all of us can agree that we can see something that can evolve from this earlier Arteta system. We can actually play with a double pivot. And I think that would actually pay off for us. The only reason why we pay with Partey is for 2 reasons. 1, because of the lack of bodies we have in the midfield of quality. And 2, because Partey is so good at doing it. So why
this is my time. You've talked more than I have talked, right? I'm going to hold you accountable for that. I'm going to hold you accountable for that. Let me just say this, guys, which we won. We should all be happy we won. We have struggled the last 5 or 6 games, which is not like our last 5 or 4 or 5 games, which is not.
Can I see Bertram's face? Sorry to interrupt. Can I see your face?
Yeah.
I need to see your notes.
I don't control. I get excited. I'm too excitable.
I want to see your face.
I'm gonna give my ratings down. I've done my soliloquy. Well, it's not really a true soliloquy. I got interrupted about 3 times. It's not a true soliloquy, actually. So let me go.
It's great discussion, guys. And look, we won, and we're all happy today, man.
Ramsdale, I give a 7. I agree with Ramsdale, Mark. I don't agree with White. I think he was about a 7. I don't see enough help for Saliba. I can't have my center half be isolated every single time. If a forward is worth his salt, and you isolate me and I've defended 7, 8, 9 times a game, I should be able to get by him at least once or twice. We will be killing our forwards if Jesus was isolated on a center back 7 or 8 times in a game and didn't do nothing. That can't be the case. And that's the system we play, which means we're going to get rinsed once in a while. I gave White a 7. I gave Saliba 6.5. I gave Gabriel a 7. I thought Gabriel played well today. Zinchenko owned the first goal. Zinchenko owned his goal, so he gets a 6.5. He gave away 1, he scored 1, net to 0. He had a lot of touches, but also he hold the ball too long sometimes. Don't go down the wing enough to create space for my winger so they can make a decision to go down or go inside. Create avenues for that's what Ben White does for Saka. That's what Odegaard does for Saka. Jorginho, I gave an 8. Jorginho was our best player. It's not even debatable. And Tony, he wasn't just efficient, he was effective, by the way. No, watch again. He was effective. Not just efficient, he was effective the way he was playing, especially given his lack of mobility. I gave Xhaka a 5. He was quiet today, very, very quiet, frankly, and got to do better. But we don't have a replacement for him. A replacement is not Vieira. I gave Odegaard a 7. I thought he was brilliant in the second half. He probably would have gotten an 8, but you can't miss that goal. When the score is tied up 2. If we lost that game, we wouldn't be having the same discussion. Given that miss he had, he was in the center of the box. The keeper was down to the right. You have to put the ball on target, even if the keeper come back and save it. Saka gets a 7.5. I'm fine with that. Trossard was surprisingly quiet, and maybe it's part of the system that's killing Martinelli and Trossard, because when they're not. Martinelli was effective in the same system, by the way, in the early part of the season, and so was Xhaka. So what has changed? What we should ask ourselves: why is Xhaka not scoring more? Why is Martinelli not scoring more? What is it about the system, or is it that teams have adjusted how they play us to limit some of our capabilities going forward? Because Brentford coach said to us after the game, we're easy to play against. So that means they stack the midfield, they win the ball, we're vulnerable. And Nketiah gets a 4, and I'm being generous. He gets a 4 because he gave Odegaard a pass, which he should have scored because he won the ball on his own. And Nketiah got a ball that Odegaard played him in, and what did Nketiah do? He made the angle more difficult for him to score because he had no left foot.
And he put it.
Yes, you thought to cut across your center half, but he went so far over. Then he couldn't put himself in an angle. Similar to what we see created for when Ollie Watkins scored and he didn't hit the target. A header in the first half, he was being pressured. He don't do anything when he gets the ball. How many defenders has Nketiah rinsed? How many times has he created mismatches when he get a center half on a one-on-one? In the first half, he wasn't presenting himself to get the ball. That's why when Jesus doesn't score in his last 10 games, we still value Jesus because what he does when he gets the ball. Nketiah has to do better. What was I missing? Martinelli, I gave him a 6. And Tony at this age, Apollo at this age, Mark, I'm not sure how old you are, Vinci at this age. I'm not going to say myself because I have no knees. Can score
I'm
that
young,
goal.
man. I'm young. I know what you're talking about at this age. I'm young.
He was putting that goal. He was putting that goal. It's harder for him to miss than to score.
Yeah, it's true.
And it was a brilliant ball by Vieira. I gave Vieira a 7, given that pass he made. Arteta, Tomiyasu, I give a 6. I mean, he didn't have a ton to do when he came in. And Arteta, I gave an 8. We won is why he get the 8. And look, here's what everyone's complaining about: us not making changes. And Tony mentioned we have 4 people who are scoring all the goals. Well, how much people need to score the goals, Tony? 4 is a lot, you know. Haaland has 25 for Man City. I mean, you know, we have 4 people scoring. That's most teams like that. You may get goal 1 here, 1 there, but 4 scoring, and then Nketiah makes 5. That's all you need to score the goals. There's only 11 players on the pitch, and the goalkeeper is not scoring. I mean, so you only need about 5 to score most of your goals. And Xhaka was scoring early in the season, by the way. Xhaka goals have dried up for some reason. I don't know what's happening with Xhaka, actually. Maybe Xhaka has played too much. Maybe Xhaka is the one player and Saka. Xhaka and Saka has played too much. And Nketiah just came in after Jesus got hurt, so he hasn't played a ton of football. Odegaard has played a lot of football, but he wasn't at the World Cup. But I would think that, and Partey takes a rest every game, every other game. So he shouldn't be tired either. Go ahead, Vinci.
It's been interesting listening to your views, Stan. And all I'll just like to say is I just hope you transfer this conversation to Edu, Vinay, and Arteta. It's very passionate, it's very insightful, and us as fans, we tune in, week out to hear these things from yourself. And we're privileged, but we'd like to see it on the pitch. So if you can, you know, in some way, shape, or form, get this information in writing to the powers that be, we'd appreciate it.
Let me just say this, though, because people think I'm a Xhaka fan. I am not truly a Xhaka fan. You know, I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm a fan of all the players, no matter what they did in the past. And Xhaka, we need to upgrade Xhaka. It's a fact. We all know this. But let's all remember this. Every single Arsenal manager has played Xhaka. Now, it may be that we have bought someone to replace him, but we can't say we are the experts and we know more than they do. They all play him, and they all play him all the time.
And where's that got them? Yeah,
I'm totally giving me a hard time about Saka because I get beat up about Saka by people. So I say this: Saka and Martinelli. When you play football, my winger has to make my wing back nervous. Is he going to go right? Is he going to go left? Where is he going to go? I'm vulnerable. The wing backs are not feeling vulnerable with my wingers.
Yeah, I know.
Martinelli hasn't beaten anyone since the year started. And Saka really goes by his man. He cut inside all the time.
That's where you miss Jesus.
That's up,
You
Mark.
guys have yourself a blessed, wonderful weekend, man. Love all of you guys, and we'll catch up soon.